What is going on, guys, and welcome back to Farmer on the Prairie. If you like my videos, please be sure to leave them a big old thumbs up and be sure to hit that subscribe button and tap the notification bell. Today's video is going to be one that a lot of you have probably been waiting for. This is going to be the farm tour video. I'm going to show you the two farmsteads, I'm going to show you the buildings that we use on the farm, and I'm going to show you a general layout of all of our fields and where they are in correspondence to our farms. So hang tight, guys, this will be a good one. Start out with here, guys, I am on the main farm right now, standing in front of the shop, and I'm going to show you the different areas around here. Okay, guys, so right now we are over the main farm, which you can see here. This is the farm where we live, and we have two houses on this farm, the gray house and the white rental house. We've also got two large sheds, one which we have named the Silver Shed. It is just a cold storage building that I think was built somewhere in the mid-50s. It is a 40 by 64, which is used as storage. We've got Dad's junk pile in here, and then we keep our miscellaneous equipment around the farm here, and we also keep our chicken pens, which we use when we process chickens. And then we have the red shed, which is our shop and cold storage. It is a 48 by 72. It has 32 feet of shop and 40 feet of cold storage. It is completely finished in the first part, and it has a loft for part storage and a large workspace which is taken up by a project right now. And then we've got our workbench over there. It has in-floor heat and air conditioning. We walk through this door, and over here we have our cold storage. We keep the combine and the wagons in here part of the year. The other part of the year we keep the planter. And then we've got a hoop building which we use for hay storage. The hoop building that we had before this was a lot smaller. This is a 45 by 54 hoop building made by Skylight Hoop Structures, and it is held down by 80,000 pounds of concrete. We have the half moons in to eliminate the amount of rain that goes in on an angle. We keep bales inside of here, of course. We have a mixture of hay, corn shucks, and straw. And I know you guys are probably thinking, wow, that's a lot of hay going into spring. We've got several rows taken out of the back, and we had bought a lot of hay this year, and now we have everything hauled over from our other hoop building. So this is all that is left on the farm this year. So this is cutting it pretty close. We also have an 18-foot grain bin that we use for storage of corn for chicken feed. And it's the only bin out of 4 that used to be on the farm. This is the grain bin that is left. We have kept this one, and it's got a drying fan on it. We've also got 3 feed bins with a tube auger that runs along the bottom, and we park the grinder mixer right beside the auger there, and we can precisely weigh out all of our ingredients for the chicken feed mix out of these bins. So here's our farm store that we sell our meat out of for our retail establishment. So as we go in the store here, it is a shiplap wood on the inside of it lining it, and it has metal on the ceiling from our old barn. We've got the desk that I custom built for Mom, and then our 3 freezers full of meat. Here's our sales building. It is a old 2-car garage, which is our old farm store. We come over to the other part of this building here, our brooder house. So in here we bring 500 chicks in at a time and raise them until they're 3 weeks old and they go out on pasture. And then we have the barn, which is our 100-year-old barn. It is white with a silver roof. And then we have what's called the 3-sided shed, which is where the cattle live in the winter time, and a lot in between. Our barn was built around 1900, has been added on to several times since the original part was built. It was originally built just tall in the center, and then they added kind of a lean-to off the front of it. You can see it is an old milking barn. My sister does use this for milking her dairy cow, It has 2 pens in here that my sister uses for her cow and donkeys, and then the rest is just basically used for storage of chick equipment to raise our broilers. The other special part of our barn in here is the processing room, which we use it for processing the broilers when they're fully grown. This is licensed by the state. When we process, it is clean in here. We kill down at that end and run them through the plucker and so on and so forth until we get to the chill tank down there. I am not a part of the chicken butchering. I have a very, very weak stomach. I'm one of those that can't even touch slimy stuff, so I leave that to Dad, Mom and Dee, sister, and somebody else who comes along and helps. We process all of our own chickens on the farm, and then those chickens must be sold here on the farm to the end user, and they get sold through the farm store. Over here is our cattle lot. It is behind the barn and by the 3-sided shed. To start out with, we have a 6-foot precast concrete wall, and then it has a sorting area behind that, and it has a block wall, a 4-foot concrete block wall on the other side that is used as manure containment, and then we've got a gate to use as a trailer backup point. The rest of our lot is pipe fencing. We've got pipes in the ground and gates welded to those pipes, so there's a lot of swinging gates going on here. The hay feeder is usually in the middle, and then we have what is called the mud lot. We have the 3-sided shed, which has a lining on the inside of it, and it is very short building. Makes it kind of challenging to have a bedding pack in there. That building is where the cattle live in the wintertime. As we're going up here, I just want you guys to notice something real quick, and it is the reason I started this YouTube channel. Looking out over the horizon, our farm is the only green area around. Anything you see that is green is our farm, which is completely different from everyone else who farms around us. Our farm is growing crops 100% of the time. It is not growing crops for harvest necessarily, but just crops to stimulate the ground. So rather than tillage, we go in the late fall and we plant cereal rye, which as you can tell is greening up nicely this time of year. So we always have root structure in the ground, which prevents a lot of erosion, and it just makes for a very healthy soil. We have a woods in the center of our farm, which the cattle is, the woods is pasture inside of it there. You can see the dark green spots on our farm are all pasture. So we have quite a bit of pasture on this farm. There's a pasture. You can also see there's a hay field over there. We're just flying out over the farm now. You can see the waterway that goes through the center of it. Our farm is a section and a half minus 80 acres, so it is 880 acres approximately. You've got to remember that there's road ditches and waterways and drainage ditches that are unfarmable, but we've got about 120 acres of pasture. The rest is all either row crop farmed or farmed as hay. We've got a lot of pasture that is surrounding the woods because the woods is not square, so we use the pastures to square it up. A lot of the less than desirable land on our farm, rather than trying to farm it and destroying the ground, we just decided to turn into permanent pastures for erosion control. So as you can tell, the woods is back there. Oh, and guys, if you notice this nice new corner post here, we do have a fencing project going on right now. Have not been able to do it for a few months. I will put the link right up there to that video series for you. So we are now out here at our winter feeding station, and this is a building that we built probably about 10 to 12 years ago now, and it was part of a government program of improvements to our farm. So we use this for feeding calves when we wean them. So we wean them in early March, and then we feed them in here until the grass greens up, and they are away from their mothers for a few months until we're certain of the fact that they aren't going to begin sucking again, and then we put them back in with their mothers. We keep hay and straw on the one end and feed them. It's also got a waterer there. We have this pasture out here in front of the winter feeding station, and we use this for when the calves are young. We also will run the cows through at different parts of the year. We do not graze a whole group in a large area. We always strip graze, because that allows the grass to be eaten very quickly and then replenish itself before the cattle are brought over again. So then on the other side of the creek here, we have another pasture that is just a few acres, and we usually will keep the bull in this during different parts of the year to keep him away from the cows. So we have now made it to the other place that I've been referring to it as the whole time, but our landlord John lives here. So from now on this channel, I'm going to call it John's unless I slip up and say the other place. So this is kind of central station during the year when we have things going on here on the farm. A lot of our equipment is stored in the big shed there, and we also have all of our commodities stored in the large grain bins here. So I am over here at John's place now. First and foremost, we got a 60 by 90 steel building with a concrete floor that we store quite a bit of our equipment in, and a lot of supplies such as seed, fertilizer, chemicals. That all goes in this building. Over here, we've got a concrete pad that a building used to be on, and a couple years ago we decided to put up another hay shed here. So we have a 35 by 64 single hoop building, and we store hay in it here as well. And in the off season, when there's not hay in it, we will oftentimes keep a few pieces of equipment in it. We've got a little bit of straw left and a few corn shucks. So we've got a round top barn, which is in not very good condition, but we keep some stuff in it. We have 3 tanks. We just keep miscellaneous things inside of this shed that aren't really of much value. The last thing we have over here at John's is a 28% nitrogen storage tank. It holds 20,000 gallon, and it is in this containment here sitting on a concrete slab. I really hope you guys enjoyed the tour of our farm. It gives you a little bit better idea of when I'm talking about going here, doing this, doing that. It gives you a better idea of what I'm talking about. With that being said, guys, that is all for today's video. Thanks for watching, and I will see y'all next time.